So, Marie, you are one of our faculty here, and you coordinate the business program here at Harper College. But before coming to Harper, I understand that you were an entrepreneur yourself. Tell us about that.
Yes. So while I was teaching part-time, I also had a candy store and with a friend of mine, and we had that for about 4 years. And it was an exciting time to have a candy store. I learned a lot about business and used my MBA to its fullest. That is, I realized that I learned more from having my own business than from learning anything in school.
Well, yeah, that's right. Right. And I think that's probably the experience that most people have is that once you actually go out there and do it, that the schooling didn't really have anything to do with it, right?
I think it gives you maybe some ideas, but really reality is a little different than the theories you get in school.
Sure, sure. So what happened with the candy shop?
We had it for 4 to 5 years, and then we hit our Great Recession. And after that, our corporate clients actually came back, but the retail side was really slow, so we closed down.
Okay. All right. And then I understand you were teaching at a couple of other community colleges before you came to Harper?
Yes, I was teaching part-time at Oakton Community College, at Triton Community College, and I did a stint for 1 semester at COD.
Okay. So coming to Harper College, you came here to start up the entrepreneurship program here and get things rolling. And then there's also this really cool program with Zurich Insurance. And I wanted to talk about that first. Can you tell us all about this? Every time I read about it, I think, what a great opportunity for students or for anybody in the community to take advantage of. Tell us about that program.
Absolutely. So with our economic development people here at Harper who had worked with Zurich and with Department of Labor, we are a certified apprenticeship center, so we can start many apprenticeships at Harper College. And one of them is the first one in insurance that we are doing with Zurich, and we actually have Aon now on board, so they are sending students over as well. And the program is designed to have the students study and get an AAS, Associates in Applied Science.
Right.
In insurance, we have that now as a concentration, and they do it in 2 years while they are working, and they are getting paid to be at work, and they are also getting paid to go to school. And all of their textbooks are paid for by the grant that we received from the government. And once they finish, they will have certifications from the institutes, which is a certifying agency for all the insurance people. And then they will also have the certifications from Department of Labor that they completed an apprenticeship program. And obviously, they will have a degree from Harper.
So, all right, let me get this straight. They're going to pay for me to go to school.
Yes.
They're going to pay me while I'm working and learning and going to school, and they're going to pay for my books.
Yes.
Is that not like the greatest opportunity ever?
It is an amazing opportunity because you are getting on-the-job training, which you need.
Right.
And you're using the concepts that you're learning in class straight into the workplace. And I will say that one example, and I'm sure people have read about him, but one of the apprentices who started with Zurich, the first ones, was getting a little, they said, bored at work because, it is a beginning, level job. And he came up with a brand new way of how to do things. And they're now using it across Zurich, his ideas and his implementation. So I think that's an exciting development from somebody who's just coming in brand new to a job.
Right. So it's not, I think that some people might look at that and say, wow, this is an entry-level job and it might be a dead-end job, but it's not a dead-end job, right? There's room for advancement once you get the experience with the company, right?
Absolutely. So they are being trained to be claims adjusters, but as they go through the program, they're very visible because they're apprentices and it's brand new, and I think that will continue on. So once they are done with the apprenticeship program, Zurich is opening up Zurich to these students, to their apprentices, as for different avenues into careers. So if you were interested more in the marketing side, or if you were interested more in administrative side, or all the different business functions that they do, you have an opportunity to go into them. So you have been trained and you know how the business side works and you know what they do, and now you can create a career path for yourself.
That's great. Yeah, I had several students in a fast-track speech program from Zurich a few years ago, and they all worked in different areas at Zurich, and they talked about how the company really likes to hire and promote from within, and give people who already work with them and are doing a good job in another part of the company, and allow them to work up through the system and through the chain there, which is great. It's a good sign of a good and healthy company, I think.
Absolutely, and I think the same will happen with Aon. And Aon is actually, because most of they have a building in Lincolnshire where this is where the students are working that are coming to Harper, but they also, because this is an apprenticeship program that can be used by any school, they're also going to Harold Washington College,
Okay.
and they have apprentices there using the same program that we've created, and they're teaching them there, and I think there'll be a lot of opportunity for those students as well at either location.
So the students who are in the apprentice program at Zurich, do they get to work at that beautiful new building over on the corner of I-90 and
Oh,
Meacham?
yes. I'm waiting for when I get an invitation for a tour.
Yeah, it's a beautiful building. I loved watching it go up, and I love
Yeah.
driving past it at night. Yeah,
It looks like a bright, shiny diamond.
it does, doesn't it? It's really pretty. It's nice that someone, off topic, but it's nice that someone had the forethought to put a pretty building up rather than just a big glass box. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
that certainly helps.
And I think they've won some awards for that design as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great. All right. We are going to take a short break, and when we come back, we would like to talk to you about the entrepreneurship program here at Harper College, all right?
Absolutely.
All right. Here's a little bit more from Coal Mine Records on Harper College Radio. We'll be right back. All right, that's the Grease Traps doing Street Sweeper here on FM 88.3, WHCM Harper College Radio, and you are listening to Harper Talks. I'm Brian Shelton, and my guest today is Marie Lappin. Lapidus, who runs the business program here at Harper College, Business and Marketing, and is, and, in full disclosure, a very good friend of mine as well. So
Absolutely.
I appreciate you getting up this morning and coming on to the show with us. So we were talking before our quick break there to catch our breath about the apprenticeship program with Zurich and Aon and the other programs that are going. But you also are running an entrepreneurship program, kind of a business incubator program, and I was hoping you could talk to us about that.
Absolutely. So I was actually hired at Harper to create the educational side of our entrepreneurship program. And so we now have a certificate that you can earn, and we have the degree that you can earn, again, the AAS degree with entrepreneurship as the concentration. And what we do in those classes, which is, I think, different from a lot of schools, is that it is hands-on. When you finish the entrepreneurship classes, you finish with a business. You also finish with financing potentially. Harper College got angel grants to give away to local businesses and to student businesses. And in the spring, we give away money to the student businesses. And this spring, we're going to have a competition. And we'd love to have the students get involved and vote for which businesses should move on and compete for the money that they can get to
Shark Tank.
Shark Tank, yes, absolutely. And we're actually going to have a poster session during our Women's Entrepreneurship Day. So they will be presenting during that time, and then students can come and vote. We haven't figured out quite all the little details, but that will be happening on May 10th, I believe, Wednesday.
Okay, great. So tell me more about angel grants. How does that work? Where did that come from?
So one of our foundation members, the Duchessois family, has given us $250,000 to give away.
Whoa.
Yeah.
$250,000?
Yes,
That's
$250,000.
I want $250,000. Sorry.
I wouldn't mind it either,
Yeah.
but we are going to give it to the students.
Okay.
And we are going to give it to local businesses who compete kind of in a Shark Tank environment with a foundation. And so in the fall, we give $25,000 away to local businesses who compete for that money, up to $10,000. And then we also, in the spring, we will be giving away $25,000 to the students, and they will compete up to, again, $10,000 that they can get.
Now, how unique is this for a community college like Harper? Are other schools doing this, other schools in the area? This sounds like a really unique and interesting opportunity.
It is absolutely an interesting opportunity. As far as unique, there are some schools, I'm not going to say necessarily in our area, but I think a lot of schools around the nation that do try to give out some sort of grants, or they will try to get donors to give out grants, so they will work with local businesses or local foundations to try to give out grants to their students. So that is not necessarily absolutely unique, but I think in our area, I don't think we really have a lot of, particularly in northwest suburbs, we don't have a lot of entrepreneurial push, which is what we want to create at Harper. We want to be that place that is known for entrepreneurship.
So let's talk about entrepreneurship. I mean, I think people understand the basic idea of entrepreneurship is that you're creating your own business or creating your own way. But talk to me about the entrepreneurial spirit and what that means and why people might choose that path.
So I think that a lot of students, I think a lot of people have their own ideas of how things should be done. And I think there's fear in trying to do it because you hear about businesses failing all the time. But if you don't try, you will never know if you are going to be the next Steve Jobs or Mark Zuckerberg or even have your own candy store. You have to try things, and the opportunity you get from that is that you learn a lot. And we want to promote that because some of our students aren't on the career path to go work for some Fortune 500 company. They want to do their own thing. And even if they go into a Fortune 500 company, they could be the change makers there as they go through our program, because the entrepreneurial mindset is to try new things, to be innovative, to be creative, and it opens up the opportunity for students to just come up with the wildest things and be successful, and we give them that opportunity, which I think is really exciting, the fact that we do that. And I think the uniqueness of our program versus a lot of the schools that I have seen is that we graduate them with a business. So if you want to go into the entrepreneurship program, you will come up with a business idea. That doesn't mean you have to start it, but we certainly recommend it, because if you can get funding, and we work on that, we have a class specifically on how to get funding, and we go through all the opportunities, the crowdsourcing like Kickstarter, grants, finding angel investors for yourself, trying out your business, seeing if anybody's even interested. It's a great opportunity.
Yeah,
and it's a mindset that we want.
That's great. Can you give me some examples of some of the business ideas the students have come up with in the last couple of semesters?
So we've had students come up with food truck. We've had students come up with one of the business. Don't be stealing these, people. One of the students came up with an idea to do, because when you invest, a lot of the time you have a lot of information about the company, what they're doing, what their mission statement is, but not a lot of people know who's running the company, and that could be key in their success. Because we've seen people, come into companies and ruin them, and we've seen people come into companies and grow them. So knowing something about the CEO or the top management is important. So that was going to be a website where you can go and actually learn about the management of the company and the background of these people, and kind of get a dashboard ranking of who they are. So I think that was a very interesting business. There was a student who was going to create a winery, although he moved out of the district, so I don't think that's well, maybe I think he was going to California, so maybe.
Seems like a good spot to do that. Yeah.
Right. But actually, there are wineries around Rockford.
Right.
So that's not something that's totally out of the realm of doing here. So other business, I don't know what the classes are coming up with this semester, but if you want to come and see what they came up with, that will be during our Women's Entrepreneurship Day.
Speaking of coming to see, I got an opportunity to check out the really cool classroom space that you've created for this program. Can you talk about that?
Sure. We are in J166, and that classroom has been created to be our entrepreneurship classroom. We want to obviously do more of those, but we will. That classroom has everything is movable. Chairs are movable, desks are movable. We have whiteboards that are movable, so students can work and write on whiteboards. We have laptops available for the students in that room. So we have TVs on, for every kind of pod of desks. So you can present, you can show, you can work on things together. You can use the whiteboards to block people out, next to you, so they don't steal your ideas, or you can use the whiteboards to work together and, develop new ideas. So it's a really great space, and it's really much more creative than some of the other, particularly in J, some of the other rooms that we have that don't have windows and are kind of a little darker. We wanted it to be bright and happy, and a space where you get to be creative and innovative.
Yeah, Jay's not exactly the brightest, happiest building on campus.
No, so we're waiting for the big remodel,
So there's a big entrepreneurship and technology incubator in Chicago.
1871.
Yeah, 1871. I was trying to think. All the dates are going through my head. Why is it? And that's the founding of the city of Chicago, right?
No, that was when the city burnt down.
Oh, when the city burnt down.
The famous cow that burned down Chicago.
Mrs. O'Leary's cow. Yeah.
Yeah. So they named it 1871 because that was when Chicago was sort of recreated, and that's what they're trying to do with their incubator, is recreate. Create new things, innovate. And
that's also kind of the model for what you're doing here.
Well, we are working on actually having our own innovation center. I don't want to say our own, but with our community, we want to have an innovation center at Harper. So lots of meetings going on, lots of opportunity there to create a space where the students can work, where community can come in and work, where we can have partnerships with our high schools, and the students from the high schools can come in and work. There are students from high schools that have finished their entrepreneurship programs that are coming to Harper, so we want to be very supportive of their business creation. And so we're working on creating an innovation center. That's not necessarily its name. It's still in the planning, but we will have a space for everyone to come and have resources that they need, have training that they need, have opportunity to gather together and share ideas, which is really important for entrepreneurs. A lot of them end up working in silos, working by themselves. Maybe they go to Starbucks. We don't want Starbucks. We want the place where you go and you actually talk to people, not sitting with your headphones.
Not that we have anything against Starbucks, just
Love Starbucks, as we know. Starbucks, like I have a picture that my daughter drew in my office of the Starbucks logo, so I'm all about Starbucks, but we want a space where it's more than headphones and you work on your own thing, but actually collaboration space.
Yeah, and the collaboration is so important in this type of activity, and it's where and even if it's just about bouncing ideas off of somebody else and having them say yes, no, that's good, that's not, and I think you need that in that type of
Absolutely.
situation.
I mean, it's even just a way to even vet out, like, is anybody interested in this business? If somebody sitting next to you says, yeah, that's not bad, and then you can, okay, I'll keep working, because if somebody next to you says, no, you might want to rethink what you're doing or pivot or do something different.
Right.
And another thing that we do want to include in our innovation center, in our innovation space, is a kind of what I call the garage, a maker space where students can come and actually create prototypes of whatever product that they may be creating, so that they can try it out. So 3D printing, laser printing, all of that equipment available for them to create what they want to have.
That's cool. That sounds really cool. Now, it's not all entrepreneurship program and apprentice programs. We do have, I don't mean this to sound the way it's going to sound, but we do have your standard academic courses in your department for marketing and advertising and business administration. Can you talk about how that works and talk about those courses a little bit?
Sure. We have the AA degree, that is a transfer degree that you can have in business, and most of the classes that you take will be the transfer, basic classes, but you can also take an intro to business class, a marketing class, advertising class, to kind of try it out, see if this is something that you want to do when you transfer.
Get your feet wet.
Get your feet wet and see the business side. And we also have our AAS degree with business administration, and we have concentrations in finance, in human resources, in insurance, in marketing, and entrepreneurship. So lots of different opportunities for you to earn a degree with a concentration that you're interested in. And, again, like you said, they are the more traditional classes, but we try to push our students to be creative and innovative in all of those classes.
Right, and many of the same people who are teaching in the entrepreneurship and apprentice program are teaching the, quote, standard classes,
absolutely.
right? So you'll get exposed to those fun minds and those fun ideas there, and it might lead you into the entrepreneurship program.
Absolutely, and a lot of our faculty we're all from the business side. Everybody who started out somewhere in business first, not in academia. So we're not the true academics. We're more this is how you do it. This is reality, and to put together with the theories that you're learning in class. And so there's a lot of application in all of our classes, and a lot of our adjunct faculty have owned their own businesses, have made a lot of money with their own businesses, and have a lot of connections and networking that we would like to be able to share with our students so they can do the same.
Okay, and how flexible is scheduling? Are we talking classes day, night, and online, or are you stuck into a pattern where you've got to, take off Monday and Tuesday to come to school?
Absolutely not. Actually, the exciting thing is starting this fall, we will be moving most of our degrees to be available fully online.
Oh, cool.
Except for entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship, you really need to sit together and talk to people, and asynchronous learning doesn't really work very well for that.
Right.
So most of the entrepreneurship classes will be offered in a blended format or hybrid, or when you do in-class and online work. And a lot of our classes are moving to that model. We offer a lot of classes at night. We offer the basic classes mostly for the students who want to transfer and go during the day. We offer all those classes during the day as well. So lots of options. We try to give as much opportunity for students to fit into their schedule what they want to do.
I teach online a couple of classes, and I know that you do as well. Do you feel that you lose that connection with the student when you teach online? It's kind of hard. For me, I feel hard. It feels hard to I don't want to say create a bond, but create a connection with the student and really feel like you've gotten to know them and they have gotten to know you in the online environment. How do you feel about that?
I think online does take some of that away, but I have had students who have taken my online classes and then shown up in my face-to-face classes or show up to the office, so that you kind of get to meet them, that is great. You do maybe lose some of that personal touch that you can have in the classroom where they can see you and kind of get the right tone of what you're saying.
Right.
You know, their interpretation, what you say may be different online. But I think online, the flexibility of online and, you know, if you build a good rapport as far as, you know, responding to students, giving feedback, having them meet each other through discussions, I think that that does create an environment where they can share. Again, it's asynchronous and they're all, you know, they're all not all together at the same time. But that's the beauty of online, that students can actually fit into their schedule when they want to study.
Yeah, what do you think some of the disadvantages for students are with online? Because I know that not every student succeeds in an online class. What do you think? What are the challenges there?
I think the biggest challenge, and if you can handle this, you can handle any online class, is getting yourself organized. Plan your time that you're going to spend online. Do not think like, oh, it's an online class, I can log in anytime, that means I can do it later. Actually put into your schedule, this is when I'm going to work on my online class. If you do that, you will be successful in online classes, because it is really just about organizing yourself, knowing when things are due, logging in. You know, I think another challenge is students may think like, oh, well, I don't need to log in that much. Actually, you do. You need to log into the class, you need to participate to get the full effect of the class. And I think just timing yourself and organizing yourself and making room for the class, particularly if you have a short online class, those classes are supposed to be 15 to 18 hours a week. So I would like to know, on average, how much time do students actually spend in an online class. I'm thinking 15 to 18 hours is not what they are spending, but that's the plan for the class. So, you know, plan for that. And some weeks are lighter than others, and some weeks are heavier than others.
Yeah, I always tell my online students, you know, you gotta make a calendar and you gotta make a schedule for yourself. You gotta treat it the same way that you would a face-to-face class and say, you know, every Monday at 9 o'clock I'm going to do my online work, you know,
Absolutely.
and set an appointment for yourself is what I always tell them to do.
Yeah,
So.
I think that's the biggest challenge. I also, if I have a class, in the 8-week classes, I don't usually do this because it's just not enough time for students to get to know each other well enough. But in other classes, I always have them do group projects. And, you know, they have to figure that out online, so that always becomes an interesting...
I bet they love you for that.
Oh, they do. But they figure it out, and they all get to create videos and present them online, and they figure that out too. So it's you know, it's challenging, but I think an online class can be just as great as a face-to-face class. It's just how you plan.
Okay. Before we go, you have an event coming up. Was it Women's Entrepreneurship Day?
Women's Entrepreneurship
Plug that
Day.
for us real quick.
Sure, absolutely. This is something that we're doing with the Business and Entrepreneurship Club that, by the way, meets every Wednesday from 3:30 to 4:30 in J166. And we're planning that day, and we're going to have our business competition there. We're working on a keynote. We're working on some women businesses to come and show off their businesses. So it should be an exciting day. And you get to vote for who gets to get the money from the foundation.
Oh, that sounds like fun. So when and where, one more time?
May 10th. And so far it's being planned. We're planning it for Avante, but we still have to book everything.
Okay. And if I want to be a part of it, how do I get in touch?
So you can get in touch with me. My number is 847-925-6978. You can email me. It's mfarber, F-A-R-B-E-R-L, at harpercollege.edu. You might want to find it online.
Yeah, the Harper email conventions are not
Yes.
very easy to navigate.
And
yeah.
or you can show up to any of our business club meetings.
Okay, great.
Or follow us on Facebook. The Business Club has a Facebook.
All right, fantastic. Well, we want to thank Marie Lapidus for being on the show today. It's been absolutely a pleasure to have you here. You can find out information about the entrepreneurship program if you need a recap on that information at the Harper College website. That's harpercollege.edu. You've been listening to Harper Talks on FM 88.3 WHCM, Harper College Radio, a broadcast service of the Board of Trustees at Harper College. And we will talk to you next Tuesday at 9:30. Where we have a lot of cool guests coming up. I haven't confirmed exactly who's going to be on the show, but we've got 2 guests coming on in the next 2 weeks that are going to be a lot of fun and have some great conversations. So make sure that you tune in next week. The show will be available on YouTube by the end of the day. Have a great day, everybody. Go Hawks.
88.3 WHCM, Harper College Radio, Palatine, Illinois, a broadcast service of Harper College and its Board of Trustees.